You built your peace in silence, and they screamed lies trying to tear it down, with nothing but rumors in their hands. Now, imagine this for a moment. Chosen one, you're walking your path, minding your business, building something real from the ground up. No shortcuts, no tricks, just focus and energy. Meanwhile, in some dark corner, a group of people is working overtime, obsessing over your every move. And the crazy part? They've got no proof, no facts, no reason. Just jealousy dressed up as concern, envy dressed up as warning, lies passed off as truth. They dug and dug, hoping to find dirt, and when they couldn't find any, they decided to throw some anyway. And here's the wild truth that will make your soul nod. The more calm and silent you stayed, the more outrageous they became. The less you reacted, the more they had to invent. They wanted to see you snap, break, lash out, but you didn't give them that. So they just kept pushing, kept lying, kept reaching. And now, everyone's starting to ask questions. Questions like, why are they so obsessed with someone they swear they don't care about? Or, if this person is so dangerous, why hasn't anything surfaced? Because, chosen one, there's nothing to find. There never was. And thank you, chosen one. Don't forget to pay this message forward by simply pressing the like and subscribe button. Help spread this truth to more souls, because it's our shared mission to keep the light strong and loud in a world that loves to twist the truth. You are not just a listener. You're a part of something bigger. You're part of a force, and your support keeps that force moving. Now, back to the truth that matters. What's happening right now isn't random. The reason people are shocked, confused, even disturbed by how far these individuals have gone to try and ruin you with zero evidence is because your light threatens the control they once had over others. You are showing up in your own lane, minding your own business, and somehow that alone is triggering people who rely on control, manipulation, and illusion to feel powerful. You never raised your voice, you never threw dirt back, you just kept moving forward, and that's what scares them most, because nothing exposes a liar faster than someone who stays consistent in their peace. You didn't feed the drama, you didn't post to defend yourself, you didn't go on a rant to clear your name, and yet the truth is clearing it anyway. The universe is doing it for you. The very people who once convinced others to stay away from you are now being questioned themselves. Their own stories don't add up. Their own energy feels off, and people are starting to wake up. This whole time, they thought they were building a case against you. But what they were really doing was building a spotlight, and now it's shining right back at them. Your calm became their chaos. Your silence became their unraveling, and now their obsession is becoming more visible than ever. Because, chosen one, the truth always floats to the top, and lies eventually sink under the weight of their own emptiness. This is why you were chosen, not just to rise, but to expose, not with rage, not with revenge, but with unshakable peace and undeniable progress. And now, those same people who wanted to see you fall are watching you rise higher than they ever imagined, with no scandal, no drama, no receipts they can wave around, just consistent energy and results they can't explain. They tried to cancel you without proof. They tried to ruin your name off whispers. They threw stones, hoping to see you shatter. But instead, you built a foundation with everyone they tossed. This is bigger than gossip. It's about what happens when someone tries to take out a soul the universe is actively building. Every false story, every fake tear, every manipulation they used, it's all circling back. Not because you wished it, but because the energy was never real. And what isn't real can't hold up under pressure. You were never supposed to defend yourself. That was never your job. Your job was to keep building, keep rising, keep glowing. And now the truth is doing what it always does, showing up late, but showing up loud. The same people who once laughed at your silence are now being left behind by your elevation. So, chosen one, don't waste a second trying to prove anything. Let them choke on their own assumptions. Let them sit with the fact that the worst part of your story is the lie they told. And the best part, it's just getting started. And it's being written without their permission. You don't need proof to exist. You don't need permission to thrive. You just need to remember, the truth doesn't chase crowds. It stands and lets the world catch up. So, chosen one, are you ready to unpack just how far they went trying to ruin your name without a shred of proof? What you're about to hear will make everything make sense. It's time to go deeper into the truth they never wanted to come out. Drop the number 777 in the comments if you feel that deep pull in your spirit, the confirmation that you're not crazy, that everything they did was intentional, and that your silence has been your strength all along. And if this message is hitting home, bless the energy behind it. Whether it's a like, a comment, or a super thanks, even the smallest act helps keep this truth flowing to the souls who need it most. You're not just supporting content, you're helping fuel a mission to expose what's hidden and confirm what's real. Now take a breath, chosen one, because what's coming next isn't just information, it's clarity. And if you're truly aligned, you'll feel the pull to stay until the very end. Let's get started. Number 1. They didn't gossip, they waged war with their mouths and thought you wouldn't notice. They didn't just lie about you, they built a battlefield out of whispers and thought your silence meant surrender. Chosen one, let's call it what it really is. This wasn't gossip, it wasn't harmless talk, concerned friends, or venting. No, this was a full-on attack. A campaign, a coordinated attempt to assassinate your character without touching you physically. What they did was spiritual warfare, disguised in everyday language, fake concern, and backhanded questions. And they convinced themselves they were innocent. But here's the part that's tearing them apart now. You never fought back. You didn't run around defending your name. You didn't match their energy, and you didn't give them what they wanted. A reaction, and yet you're still standing, still rising, still glowing. Because while they were using their mouths as weapons, the universe was already taking notes. You became their obsession. You, the one who never begged to be liked, who stayed in your own lane, who minded your energy and your peace. You became the focus of people who secretly felt small in your presence. They called it gossip, but it was a war on your spirit, a way to project their own shame onto someone who refused to shrink for them. Now imagine this, a group of people sitting in rooms you've never entered, talking about you like it's their job. They scroll your pages, dissect your captions, create stories from thin air, all because they're disturbed by how unbothered you are. And when someone asks them, "Why do you talk about this person so much?" they panic, because they know deep down they need you to fall. They need the story in their head to come true. Otherwise, they have to face the real question. Why does this person trigger me so much when they've done nothing to me? They didn't talk about you because you were wrong. They talked about you because your light reminded them of everything they faked. That's what spiritual warfare looks like today. It's not just curses and rituals. It's gossip, smear campaigns, gaslighting and manipulation dressed up in everyday conversation. It's planting doubt in other people's minds before they even meet you. It's setting the narrative before you've even walked in the room. They told people you were selfish. They said you were cold, arrogant, fake, manipulative. And the worst part? They believed their own lies. They told the story so many times, they started thinking it was truth. But Chosen One, here's what they didn't expect. The truth has a pulse, and no matter how long they tried to bury it, your presence keeps bringing it back to life. That's what's driving them mad now. People are beginning to see through it. They're starting to wonder, how is this person always the villain in their story, yet they never have proof? Why does the person being attacked look more at peace than the ones doing the attacking? Because peace is loud in silence, and your silence was never weakness. It was divine strategy. They waged war in whispers, but the universe is shouting the truth now, and they can't drown it out. They tried to turn others against you because they knew they could never beat you face to face. They created imaginary battles to distract from the fact that they've already lost their integrity, lost their authenticity, lost control over how people see them. And now, people are waking up. The same folks who believed them are seeing the cracks. They're realizing, wait a minute, this Chosen One keeps glowing, keeps rising, keeps showing love, keeps moving forward. And the only ones angry about it are the ones who won't stop talking. They've become prisoners of their own performance. They've spent so long trying to tear you down that they forgot to build themselves up. And now their lives look exactly like what they tried to speak over yours. Confused, heavy, stagnant. Chosen One, the warfare didn't work because you're not powered by popularity. You're powered by truth. You didn't rise because people approved of you. You rose because the universe already chose you. And when someone tries to use lies to destroy a truth-protected soul, that energy doesn't just bounce off. It returns amplified. This is the curse they never saw coming. The moment they made you their target, they made you their mirror. And what they see in that reflection is everything they hate about themselves. Honesty, resilience, strength, and unshakable purpose. They started a fire with your name on their tongue, and now they're the ones burning in the smoke of their own lies. You didn't need to defend yourself because energy speaks. And what's louder than any rumor is the fact that you've stayed grounded. Your blessings didn't stop. Your glow didn't dim. Your spirit didn't fold. That's what has them spiraling. You beat them with stillness. You won with grace. So if you've ever questioned, why are they so pressed over me? The answer is simple. Because you're the one thing they can't control. Because you carry the kind of energy that exposes everything fake. Because your name tastes like truth in their mouth, and they can't handle it. This wasn't gossip. This was war. And you didn't just survive it. You turned it into fuel. Now keep rising, keep glowing, keep living, because every word they spoke, every lie they told, every conversation they had in secret is now turning into a spotlight on their own dysfunction. Let them talk, let them whisper, because the louder they get, the more obvious it becomes. You were the one, and they never stood a chance. Number 2, they watched you like a hawk and still couldn't stop what was meant for you. Their obsession didn't stop your growth, it sped up their own destruction. Chosen One, let's tell it exactly like it is. They weren't just watching, they were tracking, studying you, obsessing over every step you took, every breath you posted, every quiet move you made. You became their secret routine, their twisted entertainment, their full-time focus. But here's the catch they didn't see coming. This obsession, it cursed them, not because you wished it, but because energy works like that. And now they're drowning in the consequences of a fixation they couldn't control. They made you their morning news, their daily scroll, their midnight addiction, and now their mind is paying the price. Imagine this for a moment. Someone wakes up and checks your page before they check the weather. They scroll through your life with fake accounts, zooming in on your glow, reading between your captions like they're sacred text. They don't just watch, they memorize. They know when you're active, what you're working on, who you're around. And the whole time, they swear they don't care. But if you didn't matter, chosen one, why are you always on their mind? That's not curiosity, that's obsession, and it comes at a price. Obsession is spiritual glue. The more they stare, the more stuck they become. Here's what they didn't realize. They weren't just watching your life. They were locking themselves out of their own. Every minute they spent plotting your downfall was time stolen from their own destiny. While you were healing, they were spiraling. While you were working on purpose, they were rehearsing your downfall in their head. And while they were projecting failure onto your future, their present started falling apart. Now they're confused. Nothing's working. Opportunities are drying up. Connections are breaking. People are pulling away without warning. And they're asking, why is everything going wrong? The answer is simple. They aimed too long at something they were never meant to touch. They stared so hard at your light, they went blind to their own shadow. They tried to drain you with their focus, and now they're drained by their own obsession. You didn't even have to respond. That's what's breaking them. You didn't clap back. You didn't explain yourself. You just kept glowing. And that glow, that quiet, unstoppable rise, is eating them alive. Because they needed you to stumble. They prayed you'd break. They watched so closely, just waiting for a sign of failure. But all they got was consistency, and that's what cursed them. They couldn't look away. They still can't. They act like they've moved on, but they're checking for you in silence every single day. Why? Because your growth exposes everything fake in their world. Your peace makes their chaos louder. Your purpose makes their life feel empty. You weren't their problem. You were their mirror, and they hated the reflection. They convinced themselves they were better than you, that they deserved more, that you somehow got lucky. But when their dark energy couldn't touch you, they started unraveling. See, chosen one, people think obsession is harmless. They think they can watch you in silence, study you, plot against you, and stay untouched. But the universe doesn't work like that. The more you focus on something in hate, the more it binds you. And they bound themselves to the very destiny they tried to sabotage. Now they're stuck, confused, haunted by every win you collect. Every blessing you receive feels like a slap in the face to them. Not because you're wrong, but because they wasted time trying to block it. They watched your seeds grow, hoping they'd die. Now they're bitter because your harvest came in full. You know what's worse? They missed their own blessings while watching yours. They could have built something too. They had potential, they had chances, but they threw it all away to focus on you. Now imagine this. They're staring at your life from the outside, watching you thrive, watching you shine, watching you get everything they tried to delay. And they're still asking, how? How are you still standing? How are you still rising? How are you not falling apart? Because, chosen one, you were never watching them. You were never distracted. While they stared, you soared. While they obsessed, you evolved. They spent their time tracking your steps, and now they can't walk their own path. And here's the truth that hits the hardest. The obsession wasn't just about you. It was about what you represent. Freedom, peace, purpose, everything they're too scared to build for themselves. So they fixated. They watched you like a thief watching a vault they'll never crack. And now the universe is showing them. Not only can they not stop what's meant for you, but their own obsession is the reason they're stuck in the same cycle, year after year, month after month, scroll after scroll, and you're not even looking back. They gave you their energy without your consent, and now they're empty, wondering why you're still full. Chosen one, never feel guilty for their consequences. You didn't do this to them. They did it to themselves. They turned your name into their mantra, and now the weight of your peace is cracking the walls around their illusion. So keep rising. Let them keep watching, because the more they look, the more they'll realize you're not their rival. You're the result of everything they never had the courage to become. Number 3, they built a circle of snakes and called it loyalty while plotting your fall. When they couldn't take you down alone, they built a whole team of traitors and still couldn't finish the job. Chosen one, they didn't come at you one-on-one. That would have taken courage. Instead, they built a network, a group, a toxic little web made up of bitter hearts and empty minds, people just as insecure, just as threatened by your energy. And instead of healing themselves, they joined forces to break you. They whispered lies so detailed, so rehearsed, they convinced people who once loved you to question your every move. They didn't just gossip, they poisoned minds. They planted seeds of doubt in the people closest to you, friends, co-workers, even family, and those people ate it up without ever hearing your side. They couldn't prove you were fake, so they tried to make you look fake to everyone around you. Why? Because your energy exposed what they were hiding, because your light made their masks slip. You didn't have to say a word. You being you was enough to make them uncomfortable. That's why they came together, not out of power, out of fear. Imagine this, a whole group of people discussing your flaws like it's a strategy meeting, sharing notes on how to twist your image, making sure others view you through a distorted lens, all while you're just living, building, growing. But here's the part that stings them now. Despite all their effort, despite the team they built against you, you're still here. And now some of the very people they turned against you are starting to question it all. They're realizing, wait, why have I never actually seen this person do anything wrong? Because chosen one, the truth can only stay buried for so long before it starts digging its own way out. They built a network to destroy your reputation and ended up exposing their own. Let them keep building circles of snakes, because all that venom is starting to eat away at them. Your name is clearing itself. Your energy is louder than their lies, and what they called a team was just a trap they built for themselves. Number 4, they built a fake case like a business, and now they're bankrupt in truth. They promised to bring receipts, but all they delivered were fantasies, forged lies, and group delusion dressed as evidence. Chosen one, this wasn't some casual smear campaign. No, this was an operation, a full-blown enterprise built on lies, fueled by ego, and run by people so desperate to see you fall that they created an entire fantasy world just to make it seem real. They pitched lies like salesmen, built narratives like scripts, and collected fake evidence like trophies. But in the end, all they had was a shared hallucination, no truth, no proof, no substance. Imagine a group of people sitting around like business partners, trying to build a case against you. One says, "I've got old texts." Another claims, "I can pull some fake medical drama." Someone else adds, "Let's say they did something with money. That'll hit hard." All while not a single shred of real evidence exists, and yet they parade these lies around like courtroom facts. They didn't gather proof, They passed around poison, hoping someone would drink it. But here's the kicker. They believed their own lies. They repeated the same stories so often, they lost touch with reality. It became a shared delusion, a fake empire built on sand. And now that people are asking for real facts, everything is crumbling. They had no screenshots, no recordings, no witnesses, no history, just hearsay and hate. They bet everything on a house of cards, and now it's collapsing in slow motion. When you build a story on lies, don't be shocked when the plot turns on you. Chosen one, you didn't need to fight back, because truth needs no defense. All you had to do was keep walking, keep building, keep standing in your energy. And now they're left with nothing but confusion. They're backtracking, contradicting their own stories, trying to delete, hide, or shift blame. But it's too late. They turned their hate into a business, and the universe just filed them for spiritual bankruptcy. Because truth doesn't need a team, it just needs time. And now, that time has arrived. Number 5. They built their lies like a fortress, but the truth was the earth beneath it, waiting to shake. The truth doesn't chase, it doesn't argue, it just waits. And when it moves, everything false falls with it. Chosen one, here's what they never understood. You didn't need to defend yourself. You didn't need to gather an army or clap back with receipts. Because truth, real truth, it's undefeated. It doesn't flinch, doesn't panic, doesn't run. It waits, like a quiet storm just beneath the surface. And now that storm has arrived. The lies they built with so much confidence are crumbling, fast and loud. The house of cards is folding under its own weight, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. They thought if they screamed their story loud enough, long enough, people would believe it. They thought their fake evidence, their false alliances, their twisted narratives would hold. But they forgot one thing. Truth doesn't play defense. It plays the long game. And now, it's time. Truth needs no crowd. It only needs time to stand still long enough for the lies to collapse around it. Now the same mouths that tried to curse you are stuttering. The same hands that spread rumors are being used to uncover their own deception. People are watching them contradict themselves, expose their own plot, fall apart in real time. And no one is pushing them to do it. They're doing it to themselves. The universe is using their own actions to vindicate you. That's not luck. That's justice. No revenge was needed. No shouting matches. No staged comebacks. Just alignment. Just energy. Just truth. You didn't have to swing because the universe turned the mirror on them, and now they can't escape the reflection. Everything they said would happen to you is happening to them. Every trap they built is snapping shut on their own leg. And here you are, still standing, untouched, calm. That's power. Not the kind that makes noise, the kind that lasts. Let the collapse happen. Let their stories fall apart. Because in the end, the truth stood taller than every lie they stacked against you. And that's not karma, that's balance. Number 6. Their lies are falling apart, while your life becomes the proof they can't deny. The more they scramble for proof, the more your success becomes the evidence they never wanted the world to see. Chosen one, this is the part they never saw coming, the reckoning. It started slowly. First, the people who believed their stories started asking questions. Then came the silence, then the doubt. Now their so-called followers, the ones they rallied to stand against you, are starting to wake up. They're asking, where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Where's the truth? And guess what? It doesn't exist. Weeks pass, months, still nothing. No screenshots, no voice notes, no receipts, just vague stories, recycled lies and broken timelines. The more they try to explain, the more they expose themselves. The plot holes get bigger. The energy gets weirder. And now the spotlight is turning, not on you, but on them. You don't need to prove them wrong. Let their own lies do the work for you. And while they scramble, you flourish. Everything they said would fall apart in your life is thriving. They said you'd struggle, but now your abundance speaks louder than their claims. They said you were unstable, but your peace is louder than ever. They tried to destroy your character, but your actions outshine every word they've ever spoken. They painted you as the storm, but now you're the calm, and they're the ones falling apart. Your elevation is the karma. Your growth is the evidence. You're not reacting, you're expanding. You're becoming exactly what they said you'd never be, and that contrast is their undoing. You didn't need to say a word. You just had to keep going. And now, their whispers can't compete with your reality. The reckoning isn't about revenge, it's about reflection. They're being forced to face the truth. You never needed to prove yourself, because your life, your presence, your peace is louder than any lie they ever told. Number 7. Their own soldiers are switching sides, and now the mask is melting in public. When even the ones they turned against you start defending you, that's when the real exposure begins. Chosen one, the most brutal part of this whole story. It's not that they lied, it's that they lied so hard, so often, and so confidently, they convinced others to carry their agenda for them. They recruited people to hate you, to question you, to stand against you without ever meeting you. But now those very people are stepping back, looking around, realizing they were used, and one by one they're switching sides, not out of loyalty to you, but out of self-respect, because no one wants to look like a fool defending a lie that's falling apart. Their plan didn't just fail, it flipped. The same people they used to destroy you are now silently or openly defending you. Some are apologizing, some are just watching in shame. But one thing's clear, no one's buying the story anymore. And the puppet master, the one who started it all, they're standing in a spotlight they never asked for, with no script left to read. Their lies are unraveling, their mask is cracking, and their obsession, it's taken a toll. They tried to ruin your life. Instead, they sacrificed their own. They've lost relationships they thought were solid. They're disconnected from people who once trusted them. Their work is suffering. Their energy is drained. Their health is showing the stress. And you're not reacting. You're not fighting. You're flourishing. The exposure is brutal not because of what's being said, but because of what's being seen. Their true self is showing, and it doesn't match the story they told. They built a fake image, but the truth is now coming through the cracks, and they can't glue it back together fast enough. So let them face what they started. Let the people they once convinced now confront them with the same questions you never had to answer. Because, chosen one, you never had to defend yourself. The universe let time speak. And now, the only thing louder than the lies is the silence of people who finally see the truth. Number 8. The knife came from the closest hand, and now even they regret holding it. They believed the lie so deeply, they stabbed the one person who never stopped showing up for them. Chosen one, the most painful betrayal never comes from strangers. It comes from the one you trusted most, the one who sat beside you, laughed with you, shared secrets and spaces. That person, the closest one, turned against you, not because of something you did, but because of what someone else whispered into their ear. They were the final piece in the enemy's plan, the one betrayal that could actually cut deep. And when it happened, you felt it. You knew, not just the loss, but the weight of the confusion. How could someone who knew your heart believe you were the monster in the story? It wasn't just betrayal, it was surrender. They handed over the key to your heart and let the enemy inside. But here's the shift. Now they're questioning everything. They replay moments in their head, trying to reconcile the loving, loyal, grounded version of you they knew with the villain they were told to see. And the math doesn't add up. The stories feel shaky. The energy feels off. That inner conflict, that's cognitive dissonance. It's the crack in the illusion. It's the moment the spell starts to break. They were lied to, but the lie only worked because they wanted it to be true. And now they sit with that. They're waking up to the damage, the silence, the distance, the pain they helped cause, all for a version of events that was never real. And while they wrestle with the truth, you haven't chased, haven't begged, haven't defended, because you knew all along, real always reveals itself. You didn't need to explain. Their own heart is doing the questioning now. Whether they come back or stay gone, one thing is certain. They'll never forget what they did, and they'll never again be able to lie to themselves about who you really are. Because once the mind begins to wake up, it never sleeps the same. Number 9. This wasn't random. It was a targeted hit on your destiny. They didn't just attack your name. They tried to reroute your entire future and still failed. Chosen one, let's stop calling this a misunderstanding or jealousy. This was a calculated assault, a spiritual hit job, carefully planned, strategically executed. Why? Because the energy around you is powerful. Because your purpose, even when silent, speaks louder than their noise. And that scared the wrong people. The ones who see potential not as inspiration, but as a threat. They didn't come at you with fists. They came with tactics, isolation, confusion, subtle doubt. They whispered in ears, manipulated perceptions, staged concerns to make others question you, and worse, make you question yourself. They didn't want to destroy you physically. They wanted to disrupt your alignment. This was never about what you did. It was about who you are and what you're becoming. Your path, your gift, your energy. It's disruptive to systems built on ego, lies, and manipulation. That's why they moved early. That's why they attacked before you even stepped into your full power. They tried to delay you, to isolate you, to convince you your path was too heavy, too strange, too lonely to be real. But they failed. Because instead of giving up, you went inward. You questioned, then you clarified. You cried, then you healed. You walked through the confusion and came out sharper. They tried to remove you from your purpose, but they ended up making you unstoppable in it. You weren't just under attack. You were being refined. Every betrayal became a filter, every setback a sharpening blade, every delay a setup for clarity. And now you're back in position, clearer, stronger, wiser. And the same energy that tried to delay you is now watching you walk fully in what they feared most, your truth. What they tried to dismantle was never just you. It was the mission you carry, and that mission is bigger than any attack. So don't shrink. Don't question your steps. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. And now that you see it clearly, the war is over. The assignment is active, and you are exactly where you were meant to be all along. Number 10. They threw fire at you and got burned by their own flame. They aimed at you thinking you were exposed, not knowing your protection doesn't activate until you're under attack. Chosen One, the biggest mistake they made was thinking you were unguarded. That because you were quiet, calm, or forgiving, you were unprotected. But what they never saw coming was this: your shield doesn't shimmer until it's needed. Your protection isn't flashy, it's strategic. The moment they launched their attacks, the lies, the gossip, the manipulation, even the spiritual energy, the universe activated. Not just to shield you, but to return it all, multiplied. They sent curses, but you were the mirror, and what they threw just came back sharper. Every spell returned, every lie exposed, every attempt to smear your name now revealing theirs. Because energy never disappears, it moves, and when it's sent with hate toward someone truly aligned, it circles back, fast and hard. That's the boomerang effect, the same trap they built for you. They're now walking through it. Now they're confused, paranoid, exhausted, watching their own words create chaos in their lives. Why? Because the energy they designed to harm you never reached you. It bounced back and made them the target. They misjudged your silence as weakness, not knowing silence is how protection loads. And here's what hits hardest. They thought no one would notice. They thought they could move in shadows, whisper in corners, send energy through rituals and words, and no one would ever trace it back. But now, their world is showing the cracks. Health problems, financial collapse, falling relationships. And that paranoia, it's not just guilt, it's recognition. Somewhere deep down, they know the fallout they're living in was born from the war they started. You didn't fight back, the universe did, and it never misses. You didn't need to light a candle. You didn't need to expose them. Your energy was enough, and now the proof is clear. They should have never mistaken your peace for permission, because the moment they crossed the line, your protection turned into a force. And now it's writing consequences they can't escape. Let it play out. No revenge needed. Because every single thing they tried to destroy in you is now turning on them. Number 11. Their campaign is collapsing, and the one who started it is crumbling under the weight of their own lies. They built a kingdom of lies, crowned themselves with manipulation, and now they're watching it all burn from the throne they never earned. Chosen One, this is the part they never prepared for. They had a whole machine, a calculated campaign built to smear your name, drain your reputation, and isolate your energy. They recruited people like foot soldiers, feeding them false stories and emotional bait to turn them against you. And for a while, it looked like it was working. But here's the truth. Nothing built on fiction survives in the presence of real energy. Lies travel fast, but truth arrives with evidence and doesn't leave. Now their supporters, the ones who followed blindly, are asking questions. Real ones. Where's the proof? Why was I told this? Why does the story keep changing? They're realizing they were used, manipulated, turned into weapons against someone who didn't deserve it. And that shame is starting to settle in. And the one who started it all, the mastermind, they're unraveling. Sleepless nights, paranoia, mental exhaustion. The mask is slipping fast. And behind it is a person who never had control, only the illusion of it. They didn't just start a campaign, they started their own breakdown. They're watching their web of lies fall apart one thread at a time, and they can't stop it. Every move they make now only exposes them more. People are distancing, defenders are walking away. The silence around them is growing, and it's loud, because once a lie collapses publicly, it doesn't just hurt reputation, it shatters identity, and that's what's happening now. They built their confidence on destruction, and now that foundation is crumbling beneath their feet. Meanwhile, you remain unbothered, elevated, focused, because the campaign wasn't about you. It was about their fear of being exposed by your authenticity. And now, they're not just facing social fallout. They're in a full-blown psychological collapse. The kind no fake apology or cover story can fix. Let the collapse continue, because the more the truth breathes, the harder it gets for them to lie, even to themselves. Number 12. Their hate became your spotlight, and now your rise is the poetic justice they can't escape. They tried to bury your name with lies, but all they did was plant the roots of your rising. Chosen one, this isn't just justice, it's poetic. The very lies they told to destroy you have become the mirror that exposes them. Their own words are unraveling their reputation. Their own hate is now the evidence of how empty they truly are inside. And as their story collapses, your truth is rising without a single word of defense. This is the twist they never saw coming. Their hate revealed your grace. Their lies revealed your strength. Their plot revealed your power. Even the people who once stood with them, the loyal followers, the believers in the drama, are now questioning everything. Not because you tried to convince anyone, but because your consistency did what no defense ever could. You stayed authentic. You stayed graceful. You stayed you. And that shook them more than any revenge ever could. Now people are noticing how your character never shifted, even under pressure. How your silence was never guilt, it was dignity. How your peace wasn't weakness, it was proof that you never had anything to hide. You didn't rise to get back at them, you rose because the truth always does. Their hatred didn't block your light, it highlighted it. Their dishonesty didn't taint your name, it clarified it. And now, the world is seeing the contrast. You're moving forward, glowing, healing, and they're stuck, choking on the weight of their own bitterness. This is the part where the universe shows off. Not with noise, not with drama, but by letting your life become the lesson. They wrote your downfall with poison ink, and now it's faded while your name is being etched in stone. Let them watch, because the justice isn't just in what they lost. It's in what you've become, unshakable, clear, elevated. This isn't just your comeback, it's your arrival. And it speaks louder than anything they ever tried to say. Number 13. Your enemies tried to end you, but it was really the beginning of everything you were meant to become. They thought they were closing your chapter, but they accidentally turned the page to your greatest era yet. Chosen one, this is where everything shifts. The storm has passed, the lies have collapsed, and now doors are opening, not just any doors, but the kind that only open for those who have endured the fire and stayed pure. These opportunities aren't about luck, they're about alignment. And you've earned them with your consistency, your character, and your silence under pressure. People are starting to see who you truly are, not because you shouted your truth, but because you lived it. Now, relationships are forming with those who saw you at your lowest and never looked away. The ones who didn't need proof, who felt your energy through the noise, who believed in your spirit when others were sold lies. Those are your people now. Those are your real ones. Your circle may be smaller, but it's stronger, safer, and sacred. You are not alone. You never were. Because now you're stepping into sanctuary, a space not just of peace, but of power. A place where transformation is not just allowed, it's expected. This is where your elevation begins, not just in the public eye, but in your soul. You're no longer reacting, you're rebuilding, and this time it's all intentional. The war didn't break you, it shaped you, and now you walk with clarity no lie can touch. This is your new season, a clean slate written in gold, not pain. The universe watched you endure, it watched you rise, and now it moves to honor every ounce of truth you held on to when no one else did. The war is over, the lies have fallen, and the chosen one has risen, not in revenge, but in purpose. Let the new chapter begin. And now, chosen one, as the dust settles and the noise fades, only the truth remains, and it's glowing through you. You didn't just survive the war, you outgrew it. You became the proof, the lesson, and the light. Everything they tried to take only multiplied in your hands. So if this message confirmed what you felt all along, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and drop 777 in the comments to seal this moment. Share it with someone who needs the reminder. Real ones rise, no matter who tries to bury them. Your story is just beginning.